Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in my Ulta haul, I had picked up the new Urban Decay Beached bronzers, and a lot of you guys were requesting for a review and a demo video, so I have them here with me and that's what we're going to be doing in this video. I picked up both bronzers in the color Bronzed and Sunkist. I'm going to give you guys all the information and details to these two bronzers and also give you guys my thoughts and opinions just to see if they're worth your money, if you should pick them up or not. And I also included a little bit of a demo just to show you guys how these products performed and how they apply onto my skin. So if you're interested in hearing more about these Urban Decay bronzers, then please just keep on watching. So I've had these bronzers for about 3 weeks now, and I've been wearing it ever since I've gotten it just to really test it out, wear it, and get the feel of these two products. So as always, let's start out with the packaging because I'm in love with how these are packaged. They are definitely beach themed. There is palm trees all over the packaging. So the boxes that these bronzers come in is this really pretty metallic mint color with palm trees all over it, and of course the Urban Decay logo. So when you open up the boxes and get out the bronzers, they are just as cutely packaged on the inside as they are on the outside, again with the mint theme and the palm trees. And on the back it's like a rose gold bronzy metal color. It just looks really luxurious and pretty. Another great thing about this packaging is that it's so thin and sleek. It's really great if you're traveling, you can just throw this in your makeup bag. It's also great if you store your makeup products in the acrylic drawers that I do. They stack up really nicely on top of each other, they lay flat, they don't take up too much room, which I love. So enough about the packaging, let's move on to the actual products. I'm going to start out with the color Bronzed, which is the darker bronzer. And these two bronzers are going to perform a little bit differently depending on what skin color and skin tones you have. So I am very yellow and olive base, and I'm kind of medium to light medium when it comes to my coloring. So this darker color is a great bronzer for me. So if you're lighter complected than me, this color might be a little bit too dark and might come off a little bit too muddy and too brown on your cheeks. However, if you're darker than me, this would be a great contouring color or even as an all-over bronzer. And it is completely matte, so this is perfect if you want to use this as a contouring color. It's not cool tone enough for me to call it the perfect contour color. It has a little bit of orange and reddish undertones, but nothing too streaky when you use it as a contour. If you use it with a really light hand, I think that it can look really natural if you want to put it in your contour lines. But this as an all-over bronzer is just how I like my bronzers to look. So the next color that I have is called Sunkist, and this is the lighter bronzer out of the Beach Bronzer line from Urban Decay. And again, this is going to perform differently on a variety of different skin tones. For me personally, because I am so yellow base and olive base, this is really pink on me, so I like to use this as a blush and not as a bronzer. It looks too pink on my cheeks to be a bronzer. I can't really bronze my whole face with it. But if you're lighter than me, this is going to be your perfect bronzer if you want to do an all-over bronze color or use this as a contour color. However, if you're a lot darker than me, I would just completely skip this color because I don't think it would show up on your skin. It just wouldn't be worth the money. I think you can find a better bronzer to suit your skin tones. This is the perfect bronzy blush color for me because it's a little bit pink, but because it is a bronzer, it just seamlessly blends in with the other bronzer that I use. I've used it in conjunction with the color Bronzed, and I've also used it with my Too Faced bronzer, my Physician Formula bronzers, as well as a few other bronzers that I wear just interchangeably. This layers on top of other bronzers really nicely. It has a little bit of a pink undertone, so it acts as a really natural blush. So if I'm wearing a bold lip like I am today, or if I'm wearing a really bold smoky eye, this is the blush that I go to. So here are the two bronzers side by side so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is the color Bronzed, which is the darker bronzer, and this is Sunkist, which is the lighter bronzer. So if you hold them side by side, you can see that Sunkist just has a little bit more pink to it, which is why I use it as a blush, whereas this is a completely matte bronzer, which is great. So I think these two work really well together and work well with other products. Those were the two colors in the Beach Bronzers line. I'm gonna jump over to the demo part really quickly before I come back and tell you guys all the information, what the claims are to these bronzers, and also where you can find it, how much it is, and all that good stuff. So I'll be right back. So the first color that I'm going to take is called Bronzed, and this is the more bronzy color of the two bronzers. This one is a really pretty milky matte chocolate brown. So I'm going to take this on my Luxie blush brush. I'm just going to take a little bit of it, tap off the excess, and just bronze up my cheek. And you can see that it gradually deposits the color really nicely, and I really love this as an all-over bronzer. And I'm sure that as I get darker with the summer months coming up, I can just use this as a light contour. So for right now, it's a really pretty all-over bronzer for me. It's not too orange, not too brown, so it's a really pretty natural looking bronzer. So you can already tell a difference between the two sides of my face. This one is already looking a little bit more chiseled out, and I wasn't even trying to go for a contoured look. This brush just has a really nice placement where my cheek is, so it's just a really nice all over bronzer for me. So I'm just going to even out the other side. I'm also going to dust this color all over my forehead, just where the sun would naturally hit me, which is the highest point of my forehead, and just shading it down. And just to slightly contour my nose, I'm just going to take the brush and tap it on the sides of the brush, right into the product, tap off the excess, and just go down the sides of my nose really lightly. So that was it for the bronze color. I'm going to move on to Sunkist. Again, for me, this comes off as a bronzy blush color. If you're lighter than me, this might be a great all-over bronzer for you, or just as a light contour. But for me, it's a little bit pinker than my skin tone, so I like to use this as a really light neutral blush that just seamlessly blends into my bronzer, which I really like if I'm wearing a bold lip like I am today, or a really bold smoky eye. I like to keep my blush really neutral, and I think this bronzer is great for that. So I'm going to take it on the Luxie large angled brush, and I'm just going to tap it into the product, dust it off, and I'm just going to pat this right onto my cheekbones. So you can see that it applies a really subtle pink color onto my cheeks. I think because I am so olive and yellow tone, this comes off really pink on me, whereas if you have more pink to your undertones, then this just might come off as a bronzer. So I don't like to go too heavy on this because I don't want it to look too muddy and bronzed on my cheek. So I go really light with this color and just make it look like a really natural flush of color. So you can already tell a difference between my two cheeks. This one has a really nice natural flush of color coming from like underneath my skin, which I think looks really beautiful. And so I'm just going to even out the other side. And just to blur out any harsh lines and make the two colors seamlessly blend together, I like to take a really big fluffy brush. This is the Crown powder brush. It's super big and super fluffy and just not dense at all. It has a lot of give to it. And I'll just sweep this over my cheeks and blend in the two colors. So now that you guys have seen how these bronzers apply, I'm going to jump right back into the review. So I'm on Sephora's website, and I'm just going to read to you what the claims are and what this product is about. And it says that it is a super soft powder bronzer in a universally wearable luminous matte shade. And I completely agree with that. I think that the shades are definitely completely matte. There is no shimmer, no glitter, no satin finish. It is completely matte. And these powders are definitely super soft and blendable. It's definitely a powder product, but even as you swatch it and just rub the product between your fingers, it almost feels like creamy consistency. They're just so soft and so buttery and really pigmented without being that annoying kind of pigmented where you have to be careful with how much you pick up and how you apply it. I think it's just a really unique formula. Nail the Golden Goddess look every time with Beach Bronzer from Urban Decay. Dust this silky powder all over your face or body for a beachy sun-kissed look. Urban Decay's finely milled super soft formula applies smoothly, doesn't streak, and creates a radiant glow that locks into place. So let's go through a couple of those claims. So I already touched on how creamy and just super blendable these powders are. So for the streak claim, it definitely doesn't streak. This is your dream bronzer if you have a hard time blending it out and making it look natural without that harsh contour line. But no matter what kind of applicator you choose to apply these bronzers, I think that because they're so smooth and so creamy and just so finely milled, blending them out takes zero effort and zero time. You can see it in the demo that it took me less than 30 seconds to bronze and add blush to my face. They're just that creamy. So the glow factor, I think that the glow factor is more apparent in the Sunkist color rather than the bronze color. Because Sunkist has a little bit of a pink undertone, it adds a little bit of brightness and glowiness to your cheeks. And the Locks Into Place Cream, these last about, depending on what I'm doing and if I'm inside or outside and what the temperature is, they can last between 5 to 8 hours for me. So they're not super long wearing, but for a bronzer, I think that's pretty impressive. Usually my bronzer will last me between that amount of time anyway, so this isn't anything too spectacular or underwhelming. I think that it just is a standard longevity time for any bronzer for my skin type. Universally flattering matte shades provide sheer natural looking coverage every time. It's definitely natural looking. You don't get that harsh bronzer demarcation line, and it is on the sheer side, which I like because I like to build up my bronzer. I think that's what makes it blend out so easily, because it is a sheer formula. It's not sheer where you can't see the color with the first application. It's sheer in a convenient way where you can continue to build up the color and make it look really natural. They're also formulated without parabens, which is always a plus because we all know parabens are bad for our skin. That is all the information about these products. You can get these bronzers at Ulta, Sephora, UrbanDecay.com, obviously anywhere that sells Urban Decay products, and it retails for $28 and you get 0.31 ounce. So for $28, it is a little bit much for a bronzer product, but then again, this is Urban Decay. It is a higher end brand. I believe the Chocolate Soleil bronzer from Too Faced is also in that $25–30 range. So it's nothing crazy, but I know that some people won't want to spend $30 on one bronzer product. So if you get both, that's about $60, which seems like a lot of money, but I think these are definitely worth it if you want to splurge on a really great creamy blendable bronzer. This one would definitely be top of my list. If you have problems with your bronzer applying streaky or just patchy, I think these will be really handy because they're so smooth and so creamy and so blendable. So I think that alone is worth the $28, but the colors are beautiful. You can also use this as more than just a bronzer. You can use this as a contour color. If you're my skin color, you can use Sunkist as a blush. You can use it as an eyeshadow. That is it for this video, guys. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any other questions about these products, or if you have any other products in mind you want me to review for you, definitely let me know down in the comments below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.